Welcome to the show, and here are your hosts, the diabolical Elite Gaming Guru, the illustrious Red Dead Panda, and the Australian stud AshtreyGaming. So let's get this party started. Shit.
And we are live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Elite.
Oh, yes, I was about to talk and went into a coughing fit. Right, hello, welcome back to another episode of the Gamers Initiative podcast, featuring myself, a Red Dead Panda, AshtreyGaming,
Hello.
and we have the fantastic Hargeet. Hello, Hargeet, how you doing?
All right, I'm doing well. I've been on vacation for a bit now, and just going through a whole bunch of games.
Oh, where did you go?
So I've played Danganronpa for the last I don't know, few, like maybe week and a half or so. Played through 1 and 2, and then I took a break, so I'm gonna try some other stuff, and then I'll go back to 3. Those are all in Gamepass, by the way. So.
Oh, yeah, I think those, yeah. They're JRPGs.
No, it's a very odd concept. Essentially, you're a bunch of high school students who've lost your memory, and you're in a sort of dungeoned school, and your only way to get out is to murder somebody and get away with it.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting. Yeah, that sounds quite good. Okay.
That sounds great.
Yeah, we love a bit of murder.
It is a weird little game.
What have you guys been playing? Elite? Red? What have you guys been up to besides being sick?
Yeah.
We'll start with Elite.
Go on then. I've been playing Conan as always, got back into that. But also
What a
been
surprise.
playing Vampire Survivors and High on Life. I booted that up and gave that a go. And I'm enjoying what I played so far. I played about an hour or so of it, and I'm enjoying it. I don't understand the criticism of it, to be honest. Sure, it's not a 90 rated game, or maybe in the high 80s, but it's certainly not a 50, 60 rated game. And I'm confused by it all. Or should I be confused? I don't know.
It's easy done though, isn't it?
Yeah, you get confused pretty easily. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, Metacritic's a bag of nonsense anyway, let's be honest. This is just more proof of it.
Indeed.
So, I went on Call of Duty earlier as well, and was just destroying everyone on that. So, got back into my old ways.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
What have I been
Red?
playing? I've been playing The Witcher 3 and installed the update, and it is beautiful in the ray tracing mode with the global illumination enabled, but I prefer the 60 FPS, so it's just really, really nice. And just I've got to do the mission or quest that gives you the armor from the TV show. I just turned on Vampire Survivors for the new DLC, so that just came out today, so I'm going to give that a go because I love that game. What else? I've been playing High on Life, and it's actually not too bad. It's pretty decent. I'm surprised it's scoring lower than Bugsnax. I do think it's a better game. Definitely 100% more engaging. As you guys know, I might have turned Bugsnax on for a little bit, completely uninstalled it. But I'm enjoying High on Life. Lots of fun. I like the little bit of humor, and such with it. It's not, and it's on Game Pass, so I'm enjoying that. What else have I been up to? I don't think they've been up to much other than that with gaming. Yeah, because I've been sick, as you can probably tell with my voice. So I won't be sticking around the whole show just because I'm not 100% well, and I can't wear headphones for too long at the moment. So yeah.
No, that's fair
what about
enough.
you, Ashtray? What have you been up to?
Usual bit of Fortnite, which is always fun for me. Playing with Boba Fett Gaming as usual. Dealer and Thiz Payne and Angel. They're really good, so they carry me a lot, but that's fine. I enjoy that. Been playing some High on Life as well, which we'll see some video footage of that a little bit later on in the show. I thought I'd just put up some Vampire Survivors, very addictive game. Been playing that quite a bit as well. doing the achievement hunting now for that, and there's DLC obviously that's come out, so I'll look at getting that as well.
Yeah.
So they're the main games I've been playing. High on Life for me so far. Love the visuals, love the humor. Gameplay is really solid, smooth, tight controls. Yeah, there's a lot to do. I'm still sort of near the beginning of the game. I've only done like 2 bosses so far. So there's still a lot to do. I know the blue one's been playing that, and he's quite a ways through, so he's probably close to the end, and he's still getting upgrades and new guns and stuff. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. So that's sort of what I've been playing this week. And I've been playing a little bit of Horizon Forbidden West on the PS4 as well. I want to try and clear that game out and done, because I bought the like the special edition, so I may as well play it since I paid for it.
Yeah, may as well.
So I've been jumping in and out of that as well, every now and then. So that's been cool, and that's me.
All right. Well, shout out to all the people in the chat. Great to have you with us every week. And just want to say a big thank you to Hardgeek for joining us this week. Shall we get into some topics?
Indeed, we should, guys. Just let us know how our audio sounds. Make sure we're all sort of on the same plane. I can adjust it on the fly if need be. All right.
Please share out on Twitter.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
All right. First topic.
Do it.
I know this is going to be Elite's favorite topic. Hogwarts Legacy recently showed some new gameplay. How excited are you for the game?
Yeah.
There was a 34-minute sort of unpacking of the game and shows a few extra things.
34 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how long it'll take you to complete the game, Elite. 34 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot here to take me to uninstall it. Yeah.
Uninstall it. 34 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeez, what's wrong with your Xbox?
Yeah, I don't think that's an SSD.
That includes installing it and playing it as well.
All right.
So, yeah, I don't care about Hogwarts Legacy. I don't care about Harry Potter. I might give it a go if it's free, but otherwise I'm not.
It's not free. You're paying for it.
Yeah, I'm not. I just don't care for Harry Potter, to be honest. Nothing
And
really.
shout out to Elite. This is his last show because he doesn't like Harry Potter.
Yeah, so the show's going to move to my channel. It's going to have a new name, and Elite won't be a part of it.
Harry Potter channel.
Yeah.
If anyone
Gamers to appreciate Harry Potter podcast.
Well, if anyone in the chat
Exactly.
is from the UK, they know what Grange Hill is, and that's what it reminds me of. Grange Hill. It's just like that. It's just it's very average. The thing I didn't get about the movies is that it's all about Harry Potter being a great wizard, but all the way through it, he's just pretty average. He's very average, in fact.
Well,
and a lot of things just happen to him by luck.
It's like
The only
Inspector
real
Gadget.
wizard in it is singing.
Inspector
Yeah, but
Gadget.
that's meant to be like that. They're meant to be like that, and it's like they make a joke of it. But this is like they all think he's amazing, and they like put him on a pedestal and think he's incredible. But he's just not a very good wizard, and everything happens to him by luck. And it's
I mean, you got to remember, Elite, that he wasn't actually involved in any of the wizarding world his whole life, and so he is playing 100% catch up, and so he is further behind than everyone else.
More importantly, you do realize that this is Harry Potter sort of world. He's not actually in it or anything. Yeah.
Yes, it's set before Harry Potter, so you're all good.
Right.
He's like, all right, you haven't changed my mind on this game.
He's like, no. He's like, oh, is that real? What? Okay.
Yeah. So it's called Legacy. It's about the legacy of Hogwarts.
I don't really care too much for the legacy.
Hardgeek, are you excited for this game? Or what do you think of the gameplay?
Yeah, I was excited about it before anything, so so I didn't need any reason to actually go play it. I was gonna play it anyway. So I did get to watch about half of the trailer that they just put out, this 35-minute thing. And yeah, it just keeps reinforcing that. Yep, this looks really good. So I am looking forward to it. So
well, the graphics are pretty cool. It's a big open world. You get to use a broom to fly around in. You get to use what is it called? A hippogriff? Hippogriff? Hippogriff. Yeah. And I think it's important to be able to traverse the world quickly and to have those available to you. And who doesn't like flying? Everyone likes flying of some sort, right?
You get your
Yeah.
broom and you get your hippogriff. It's pretty cool.
Exactly. And so there's going to
Go
be
anywhere
some
you want.
boss fights and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's looking
yeah.
pretty cool. The combat, look, as long as the combat is works well and it's not clunky, it'll be fine. If it's clunky and kind of like Horizon Forbidden West clunky, then it's gonna sort of not score too well in that front. But because gameplay is king, I always say it. Graphics are beautiful though, and they show in the video some of that goes from sort of autumn or whatever to winter. So it's got a whole cycle of seasons, which is really cool too. Anything else, Red? Did you
I
caught it?
looked at
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'm super excited for the game. It looks amazing, and I'm kind of sad about some of the stuff that you have to specifically like pre-order to get those bonuses. I'm like, um, yeah, I don't know. There's just, but I'm excited for the game in general. Like, it just brings me back to like my childhood of watching the Harry Potter films and like that mysterious, like magical environment. Where there's a heavy exploration involved in it. The spells and all of that. So I think that is really. I'm just kind of intrigued for it, and I just want to get in there and play the game. Probably won't pick it up day one just because, like, I don't want to spend that much money on a game at the moment. I've got other priorities. But yeah, we shall see. I'm super excited for it though. I love the Harry Potter universe and all of the idea, and the fact that you'll be able to have like your own little world with like your beasts in it, and you can like do a whole heap of sorry.
It's going to be
Cosmetic-
70, yeah? US?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
it's
70.
70
So
US, yeah.
it'll be
What's that,
expensive, yeah.
110? 110 for me.
110 will probably be 120 for me. I'm like, I'm not justifying that.
Yeah.
No. Nope. Yeah.
And
I'm excited for it.
It got delayed. It was supposed to come out this month. Does anyone remember what the new release date is?
It was in
No?
February, wasn't it?
Is it February? It might be
Jeez, Feb's going to be
February.
a stacked month.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy release.
Yeah. Obviously, it's early next year, but I thought maybe January.
10.
10th of Feb.
10th of Feb.
Yeah,
Okay.
10,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that'll do well.
I mean, it's going to do well no matter what, I think, just because of their whole IP itself is just massive.
And who is it?
Only for next
Avalanche?
gen and PC though, right? It's gonna
Avalanche, yeah.
yeah, it's not coming for the older gen immediately.
Yeah.
That got delayed.
Yeah. So it's coming out on current gen only and then PC, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So Switch, PS4, and Xbox One are delayed.
Isn't Avalanche making a game for Xbox?
That's a different Avalanche.
That's a different Avalanche.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
Avalanche is making Contraband, right? The one that's
I
Yeah.
believe
that's
that
doing
is
it
the
for
game.
Xbox.
Yes. Yep.
That's confusing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's part of the copyright there.
Well, just depends.
One's in Europe, one's in US. I think that's the case. I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
One's in US, one's in Europe. Yeah.
okay. Oh, but yeah, but it's interesting. Also, the PlayStation, Sony does have the exclusive content, don't they, for this game still?
Yeah. Yeah. And for those who choose to pre-order it, like the collector's edition or something, Gary Mino's just reminded me in the chat that yes, you'll get to play it early. As a result, you'll get access to the game on the 7th if you pre-order and buy early on a specific edition.
Very good. All right. Xbox Cloud Gaming is extended out to more Samsung TVs, which includes the 2021 lineup. We got the announcement. We sort of knew this was coming a long time ago, but we got the announcement on the TGAs, and but the fact that they're rolling it out, updating 2021 versions of the Samsung TVs to have the app is pretty cool. I mean, I don't understand. They must have a contract with Samsung at this point because there's never been any word, or not that I've seen,
About LG.
about LG. Yeah,
LG, get to it. Sort it.
it'll most likely happen at some point. But it's a quick little topic. But it's good to see that app's getting out there and getting to more people. And then also the controller Rumble, it'll be able to work with it as well. So they've obviously been able to make everything work well with it. I reckon since they brought in xCloud. I've used it quite a few times with games and found that it's improved since it started here in Australia. We got it about a year after the US, and it must do some sort of machine learning or something because it's gotten better every time over the last year or so that I've used it. Do you guys ever use cloud gaming?
Played a lot of Vampire Survivors with it at the moment.
Like that's a perfect game to do it with, right?
Oh, so good. So good. Such a good game to do it with. But yeah, I'm excited for this for more people who get a chance to actually access it via their TV, so they don't have to necessarily buy a console. If they've already got the TV, they can just access it that way, and I think that's really important. Those options are important. But I do think the next step is just extending it out to like some more TVs. It would be funny if Sony TVs got it one day. Yeah,
Hey, that's probably not off the table.
it's not off the table.
Hagi,
right?
do you ever use xCloud?
I have barely used it. And it's, you know, like if I'm not at home and I happen to be just waiting for something, I can use my phone and try to play something. It's been okay. There's a few little headaches and hitches, like if you like get a message and you go to the message, you go back, you've kind of like disconnected, and then you have to kind of reestablish, and sometimes that doesn't work. So you know, it's little hitches like that, but you know, it's a cool concept, and you know, putting it on a TV does make it more interesting because now you just kind of eliminate the need for a console for a lot of different customers, right?
Yeah.
This all presumes they have a smart TV, right? And I don't know how many people have that Samsung smart TV, but you know, it's at least something. It's a start. It would be nice to get them in more TVs, especially sort of downscale TVs. So, you know, the cheaper and cheaper the TVs get,
More
the more
mainstream?
reach they'll have.
Like
yeah.
TCLs and stuff?
Yeah, or whatever, whatever lower end, you know, like they need to start getting into that Vizios, TCLs, and whatever else, you know, Hisense. There's a whole bunch of other TV manufacturers, right? So
Mhm.
Samsung tends to be a bit more upscale, LG tends to be a bit more upscale, Sony as well. So you know, getting into the other ones will start to expand their reach a bit. So, but we'll see. This is a start, right? So it's at least a good potential to see if people will actually latch onto it. But the folks that are going to spend multi-thousands on a TV can potentially spend a couple $100 on a console.
True.
So
I think it's a good way
that's
to kind
the
of
thing.
test it as well and make sure that the app is running the way it should be and stuff.
Yeah,
and
because
then-
it's more than just the app itself, right? They've actually tuned the latency between the renderer and the TV itself, right? So to make it actually work as well as it can, and
Yeah.
the controller latency and all that, right? So it isn't just simply adding an app to the Android App Store. It's actually a lot more, right? So they wanted to make sure it actually performs well, and that's a cool thing that they're actually working that technology with them.
Indeed, it is. I mean, even if you've like, I've got 2 Series X's, one being a Halo edition. That's for you, Boba. And if I had a TV upstairs, so I've got my Switch up there. So if I can't be bothered getting out of bed because I'm on holidays or you know hungover or something, I'll just play Fortnite on the Switch. But it's so bad compared to the Xbox version that I don't play it often. But if there was the Gamepass app up there, all I need is one of my spare controllers on my bedside table, and then I could just continue to play Xbox without even getting out of bed. So having that without having to get another console would be probably really good for someone like me who's already got 2. So I don't really need another one because one's in the lounge room, one's in the family room. So, I mean, I could buy another one to go upstairs, but if there's, this app available, it just negates that. I don't need it. And it wouldn't be something that I do all the time. So I wouldn't need to, make that purchase for something that I'm going to use only every now and then. So the app's good. And it's aimed more at the casual market anyway. Even people, people that are on a really tight budget or just starting to get into gaming, if they've already got a 2021 Samsung, just download the app. The entry point from there is really just the cost of a controller if they don't already have one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's an interesting point of multiple consoles, right? You might be a PlayStation player and hey, now you don't even have to buy a console if you want to play an Xbox game, just get the stupid Game Pass and like play the game, right?
Exactly.
Use your PlayStation controller and you can just try it out. Oh, it's like $10. Try it out. If it doesn't work for you, fine. So, stop the subscription.
Exactly. Let it lapse over the month. Elite, anything from you on that one?
Yes.
Go for it.
Yeah, I've not tried cloud yet. So
What?
I need to try that. I know I do need to try it. But
You know you can just do it from your console as well.
I know, and I just, I don't know. I need to try it. You forget about it. You log in and it all boots up and everything, and you just don't think about it. Yeah, I do need to sort of consciously make an effort to do it. Yes, Xbox had a deal with Samsung. I think about a couple of years ago, didn't it? Come up, and I can imagine. Yeah, the only reason the top reason they go with Samsung, I can imagine why this got a close partnership is because of Sony, Samsung being Sony's rival as well as Xbox. So. I don't imagine it would ever go to Sony TVs. Would they? Would they allow that?
Who knows,
man?
man?
Gamepass on their PlayStation and allow it on their TVs.
One day they're going to need all the help they can get.
Yeah,
It's another way to sell a product. So I assume they probably would eventually. But
I mean,
it's
they
gonna
are
be-
different divisions, right?
Yeah.
True.
So, I mean,
And I mean,
you have to
yes.
understand that corporations already have contracts with Microsoft, right? So Sony is a big
Yeah.
Microsoft customer no matter what.
well, they've got the Azure
It's-
contract.
Well,
Yeah.
and then you're still thinking about just the PlayStation side of it. No, they use Windows, right? They use Windows. They're going to use Windows Server. They're going to use SQL. They are a Microsoft customer, and so they have a big contract with them. So one way or the other, they're partnering. So potentially this business might say, well, I don't care. I want to partner with Xbox to do this on our TVs, just like I'd want to partner with PlayStation to do this on our TVs. So they would want to be agnostic, right? So just because they're Sony doesn't mean they're not going to partner with rivals. They will partner with anybody to make that business better, right?
Product. If you could.
What was that? Sorry.
It's another way to sell the product as well. If you want
Exactly.
TV, got
It's
this
market
application on it.
competitiveness, right? So if everybody else is doing it, Sony would be at a disadvantage to not do it,
'Cause they'll
right?
have
So
FOMO.
Is PS Now, whatever it's called now, PS Now Plus.
Plus.
Yeah, plus. Is that on Sony TVs yet? Because it was when it originally launched, isn't it? But I think they took it
I
off.
thought it was. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that new version is or isn't. I don't know. I think it
I
is.
don't know.
Right?
Anyone in the chat know the answer to that?
Yeah, I know when it first released back on the PS3 it was, but then I'm pretty sure they reviewed it. And then obviously it's had a overhaul since then, but I'm not sure if it's there now. So yeah, if anyone, where's Tryhard fan? Tryhard, tell us.
And he's not going to be here while we're talking about ABK deals and stuff like that. He made it very clear at the beginning of the show. But for those who are saying like cloud gaming's not for you because of the latency and the lagginess of it and so on and so forth. Again, we're at the beginning of what cloud gaming can do from a technical standpoint. The technology is going to continue to advance to a point where you won't have that as much of a problem in the future. And so it's an option that is available. And while they're kind of opening up that gate, they're just starting it, right? We're at the beginning of that journey. And the technology will continue to improve, and eventually you won't have to worry about that. And it's another option and another choice. And they're just making sure that they're there at the beginning, rather than trying to play catch up. And anyone who's jumping into cloud gaming behind them is playing catch up to them because they keep innovating around how they're introducing more and more people to that service as an option for them to game the way that they choose to game and access those services the way that they want to access them. As a consumer, it's about options, and Xbox is giving a lot of options in that regard.
Indeed.
Red's voice got more and more seductive as it went on. Did you notice that?
It's because I need to like cough. Stop being creepy.
That's impossible. All right, he's always going to be creepy. Anyway, you guys are listening to the Gamers Initiative podcast with myself, Ashtray Gaming, Elite Gaming Guru, Red Dead Panda, and our special guest, Hagi Chani. You are looking at some gameplay footage of Vampire Survivors. I can't believe I didn't fuck that up. I did quite well then. All right, next topic.
Average at best.
Average at best. That's better than you'll ever be.
Oh,
shit.
Wow. Yeah.
All right. It's all jokes, people.
Topic number 3. Sony Insomniac Games has confirmed that Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will underline launch in fall of 2023. That's our spring.
That's our spring down here. That's for us.
Yeah.
So it'll be autumn up in the northern hemisphere and spring down in the southern hemisphere.
So who thinks that's going to be a true story?
Well, Hargate, I think he should go first on this one.
Thanks.
Yeah, as far as like the chances of that not happening, they're pretty low. I mean, if Sony's coming out and saying they're doing it, they're generally pretty good about that. They have predicted dates before that have failed. That's true, but I think this one will probably happen. But we'll see, right? So, we're no longer sort of in that COVID time frame. So hopefully, people can actually do the work they need to and get it done. And Insomniac is pretty good. They've delivered time and time again. So
Cool.
I'm inclined to believe them. If they think it's coming out this coming fall next year, I'm inclined to believe that'll happen. Would it totally surprise me if it moved? No, but I'd give it a good 70% chance. It'll be fine. They'll actually release it. So yeah.
When did Miles Morales come out? Was that 2020?
It was launched.
2020,
It was
2020,
launched
yeah.
2020. Yeah, launch.
Yep. So they must have had a team working on that. That was supposed to be DLC for the first 2018 Spider-Man, but they brought it out and expanded on it. And then they've got this coming out pretty quickly. So,
and then
how-
the
Well, they did the
following year.
Ratchet and Clank game as well.
how big's this game
that's a
going to
different
be?
team. The Ratchet and Clank team is a different team, and I think the
Team.
DLC, Miles Morales was a DLC, and they kind of expanded it by.
Mhm.
I don't know if people have played it. I don't want to give too much away, but there's sort of a dungeon-y thing that happens, and they decided to just replicate that 4 or 5 times, and that's how they expanded the hours. Otherwise, it would have been sort of a 3 to 4 hour game, and that was the intent of it. It was supposed to be a DLC. So I don't think the main team was working on that. It was sort of a sub team that was working on that, and the main team was working on 2, and so they've been working on it since 2018. That's when the other one came out, right?
Yep.
So who's working on Wolverine then?
I think that's after. So I think the Ratchet team either is working on that, or more likely the Spider-Man team is probably going to work on that once they're done with this.
That's meant to release in
but-
2024. They said.
I don't
Team
think it's 2024.
That's
Do you
more
think that's coming in
2025,
2024?
2026.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
would
I
think
said.
that's
25,
my- yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's possible the Ratchet team is working it, which kind of gives you a hint as to what the gameplay might be, right? So, I'm just trying to like guess, right? So based on what that game might look like, based on the team working on it. So we'll see, right? So, but yeah, that game is it's going to be a bit. I don't think it's going to be coming in a couple in 2024.
No,
But
exactly.
It could surprise us.
Exactly. But
Also, in this same agreement with you, Hargeet, around if Insomniac is one of those developers who tend to, if they say what they're going to say, they mean it and they're going to deliver on it. So
Yeah.
I do have a belief in this, but then you never know what's going to happen. They might want to do some extra polish on the game and delay it a little bit longer. Who knows? But I do think there's quite a lot behind Insomniac going.
Yeah.
We're intending to deliver this for spring.
Plus this is the only big game they've announced, right, Sony? I don't know if they have any other first-party
the VR stuff, but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They do have a big VR push. That's right in the beginning of the year, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if how that works with the market, because I don't know how many people are going to buy that, right?
Spider-Man
So
for VR.
Ooh. But yeah, as far as like their first party titles that most of the players would want to go after, I'm not. I guess factions maybe. I don't know what else is coming.
Yeah.
So
There doesn't be any hardware factions though, does there? Was it me?
That's because there's been no real talk about it.
well,
No.
yeah,
but
yeah, there was
factions is
something at
really
the
just
Keeleys
what
in the summer, right?
the
Or in the winter.
multiplayer version of The Last of Us, right?
Aren't they
Yeah.
trying to delay
Yeah,
that
correct,
to be around
correct,
the
yeah.
launch
Yeah.
of the new show? Isn't that what the rumble
Yeah.
is?
When is the show
Yeah.
coming? Is that
Can't
our
remember.
summer?
I think
Not
so.
sure.
I think so.
Yeah. So that's probably when it's coming.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I tend to agree. All Sony does delay a lot of their games. I don't think they're up on it when it comes to releasing their games on time. But Insomniac have been known to
Yeah.
drop their games when they've said they're dropping them. So, and in my eyes, Insomniac are carrying Sony at the moment. I don't think any other studios are. I don't think Naughty Dog,
well,
Santa Monica are.
Insomniac's definitely their best studio, in my opinion,
easily,
anyway.
by far.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah, I
Naughty Dog is
agree.
probably up there, right? But
Eh.
and God of War is no Sony Santa Monica. They're no joke.
I
They have
think
a lot of
they're
good
gonna
studios. Let's just face it. They have a lot of good
use-
studios.
They do.
Yeah, but
They
I'm
do
saying
have a lot
Yeah.
of
that
good-
Insomniac's their best.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have good studios.
Maybe.
But, yeah, but I don't think like Naughty Dog or Santa Monica have dropped it. I mean, God of War, as we know, was originally going to be DLC, which they expanded on more so than Miles Morales. The Last of Us 2,
this was a proper full game.
the
Yeah.
ball on that. Yeah, this is a proper full game. And then there was games across gen anyway, so they had obviously started them last gen and carried them through. Whereas Insomniac actually the only team working on next gen games. I mean, Ratchet and Clank was next gen. Spider-Man 2 likely going to be next gen only. Or should I say current gen, shouldn't I? And then Wolverine's going to be. It just seems like Insomniac are the ones that are just pushing forward and just have not been held back by last gen, or they're just going for it. And I mean, when's next game Santa Monica or Naughty Dog? We won't get to see another God of War this
Probably
this gen,
a few years out, right? Because Corey's working on something, right? There's a separate team that's been working on something along with the God of War team. So maybe 2-3 years before we see something there.
Well, Trail spin-off.
Yeah, I don't know if it's it may be. I don't know what he's working on. I thought it was something else, but we'll see, right?
Indeed. Well, look, the developer did reassure fans that the window is in October, but he did then preface by saying delays are quite common in the video game industry. So you never know. Look, it happens a lot. We all know that, but at the same time, Sony do like to then announce a game and then push it a year or so out. So you never know. But this does feel like it's going to be around that time. But whether or not it hits October or slips into the beginning of the next year, you never know. Yeah.
Well, I think
but it'll be around there.
To delay the game, then release it, because as we have seen, buggy misses.
Absolutely.
The community.
I think Sony knows that, right? They wouldn't.
Yes, they wouldn't. I mean, they pulled Cyberpunk off their storefront, so I'm pretty sure they're aware.
That's only because they didn't want to give refunds.
Exactly.
That's also true.
100% true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sad, but
sad but true.
A good song. All right, I think we're pretty good on that. Red, unless you have anything else you want to add to that. Did you play the first Spider-Man?
I'm not a Spider-Man fan, guys.
Oh wow.
Fair enough.
You just slated me for not liking Harry Potter, and you come out and just
Harry Potter is
wow.
Harry Potter's different.
I'm on a show with a bunch of frauds.
I mean, I'd have to agree with the lead here that
I watched Spider-Man,
really?
and I like Spider-Man, but I'm not a big fan of Spider-Man. There are other characters that I prefer. I'm also more of a DC person than a Marvel person, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Did you play Sunset?
Sunset Overdrive? Yes.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
It was okay.
I played Sunset Overdrive and I didn't like it, but I love the Spider-Man games.
Yeah, it was alright. Wasn't really necessarily my cup of tea. Sunset Overdrive, but I've got it. I should actually probably play it some more one day. But
is it not in Game Pass? I think it is, right?
I don't know. I've got an actual physical copy of the game though.
Yeah.
But they give it away free with gold a while back, didn't they?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. That's how I got it. Yeah, it's not in Game Pass now. They give it away for a while back.
There you go. All right. Well, on to the next topic.
Yeah, let's go.
What do you reckon?
Let's just go with the second source confirmed.
Jackknife asks Elite, has he finished Elden Ring?
No, didn't like it. Deleted it.
Wow.
There you go. Played it for about an hour and stuff. I found the combat in it. It was almost like a Witcher.
Souls game?
I did like Witcher 3.
You didn't like Witcher 3?
You didn't like?
No.
Oh
no.
my god.
Like
okay. And you're complaining about me and Spider-Man, and you did not like Witcher 3? Is there anything that you like?
I know, right?
He plays Conan.
While we're at it, do you like Halo?
Oh, fuck. You don't want him to answer that.
No, actually, I'm not really keen on Halo either.
Oh my god.
Haki, you can block him. It's fine.
On what?
What do you
block him on everything? You can block Elite on everything, Haki. Go for it.
The combat in Conan's actually is Demon Souls. If you've played the game, it's very much the same combat.
Why did you not like Elden Ring's combat then?
Because it's really janky. I find it really janky and slow, and I found the menus, the quick menus, just really slow. They're actually much faster in other games I've played. I just thought those could have been better, more fluid.
Are there any game of the years that you like?
Stray. He loved Stray.
Stray is not game of the year.
Got a nomination.
I know it.
Well, anything that's won game of the year or just nominated
No, anything that's won game of the year.
that I've liked. No.
Wow.
What?
Just wow.
Not even like
Seriously, wow.
like even like Zelda games. Like seriously.
No.
Wow.
I've
I'm really
not tried.
reevaluating my friendship with you right now.
I've not tried Overwatch. I've not tried that. I might give that a go. Might like that.
Okay.
But I mainly play MMOs though, in multiplayer games. So, and they're not allowed to win Game of the Year, so other than Overwatch. So, aren't they? They're banned.
So you like
And
MMOs?
Yeah, I mainly play MMOs and multiplayer games.
Okay.
So yeah, PvP games. So that's what I mainly play. And as I said, they're not allowed to win Game of the Years.
Yeah, he has played a
only
pillow games.
single-player
Those are
games
his
still
games that he
fit
likes to
those.
play.
Yeah.
Anyway, new PS5 with some devs featured detachable hard drive. We should have probably had this as the first topic, to be honest with you.
All right.
But anyway, it doesn't matter.
I wasn't sure where you guys wanted it.
That's okay. You should. I'm not surprised you don't know.
Fire a secretary in the morning.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I'm not a fan of extra peripherals for stuff, regardless of it being a PlayStation thing or an Xbox thing. We had that back in the day with Sega, and I never bought, like I had the Mega Drive, or you guys call it the Genesis in the US, and I never bought the 32X and all that stuff because peripherals, all that extra shit, like to me is just a huge waste. So anyway, buying an external disk drive, or detachable, whatever you want to call it, is like, well, you may as well just buy the disc version of the console instead. Now, obviously, this is going to be aimed at people that have already got the digital version. But like me, I like options, so I went for the Series. I went for the Series X, but knowing that I've got that option of having a disc drive.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good thing, actually. Just like it allows people to choose if they want it. Like I like the disc drive because it also, like, I just have a whole bunch of physical old games as well, and that way I can just use them if I want to. But not every room, like I have 5 or 6 Xboxes in the house, and it's basically because we wanted the same interface on every TV.
Damn.
Right? So every TV has an Xbox, and so all of them don't need it, right? So there's a Series S, but sometimes I want to watch a 4K Blu-ray. Well, guess what? Now I don't have a drive, right? So it is kind of convenient. You can buy the cheaper box and just put the drive on it. From a Sony perspective, it's just going to cut their costs to manufacture, right? So, and if somebody wants it, the peripheral is going to make them money, whereas the console will probably just barely get profitable based on all the currency issues that are happening with inflation. So I get it. I get what they're doing. It makes sense, right? It's less components that have to go into the box.
And does that mean
if you
we're
want
actually
it, you get it.
going to see more digital versions of the PS5 console?
Yeah, exactly. Which just helps them as well, right? Because for Sony, that's all money for them, right? So from a platform perspective, if you're buying a physical disc, the retailer gets part of that money, and whereas the digital, they get all, like, so there's the 70-30 split, right?
Yeah.
And that goes to retailer versus it goes to Sony. And in the case of digital, it just goes directly to Sony, right? So they get the full 30%. Like, why not? Like, I get the whole money. Why not, right? So it's just more for them, and they'll just presume that the majority of players will not bother getting the accessory, like you were saying.
All right, Hargate, then what price point does it have to be for it to be, for consumers to want to purchase it?
Well, we already have the Delta, right? So it's 4 and 5 is the current one, right? The digital version is $400 US anyways, and then $500 for the one with the drive. And yeah, for you guys, it all increased, right? Because they increased the prices everywhere.
Absolutely.
But so we already have the Delta. It's $100. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they charge. They'll charge $100 for the drive. It could be $50. The drive itself, I think, is like maybe $10, $12, whatever it is, right? So it's not much, but they're gonna recoup cost. It's gonna be an accessory. They're gonna try to drive their revenue.
All of
Yeah,
that.
exactly, right. But they're gonna just make money off of it. So. I wouldn't be surprised if it's $100, right? Just to give it parity, to say, hey, we're not like screwing you by saying it's 4 and 5 for the console, right? We're going to charge you the same uplift, but we'll just drop it to 4. We won't have the $500 version, right? So at least that's my thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't really like extra peripherals unless I need them like a headset kind of thing. So, but that's just me. Elite. What do you think about external disk drive? So, because you've got a Series. I mean, I know this is for
Series S.
PlayStation, right? But you've got a Series S, so you can relate to that digital only console.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely buy one for the Series S if there was one. Yeah, just so I can play Cyberpunk. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Yeah, why not? But then that bumps up to the same price as the PlayStation 5 disc, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Well, I mean, then you're actually just getting that as a.
you might just buy the disc version of PlayStation 5, then, might you?
Yeah, but also it'll be about availability. Like for those people who've already bought the digital edition,
Which they still at limited supply because they didn't want to buy
so those who did,
versions.
rather than forcing them to buy another PS5 console with the disc, and you can just have that option to just have the peripheral and attach it that way. So I guess it is giving those people options who maybe were like, because at the beginning of the generation when they had both versions available, obviously one was more available than the other, but people just wanted a PS5. So that meant some people went for the digital edition, even though they would have preferred the disc version over the digital version. But that whole FOMO thing came about, and no one wanted to miss out, and this scalping, and everyone was like, "Oh, we need to get a console," and so on and so forth. So it did negatively impact a lot of people in to some respect. And this is just a way to kind of, I feel like, fill in that gap, and like there's part of the market that isn't being serviced as a result, and they're trying to service that side of it. Yeah.
I still think, it's a good idea. And as you said, it gives options to the players that want to buy physical versions. So, yeah. I mean it is interesting because I think it's 80% of gamers now play digital anyway, don't they? So, I think it is a good idea, but I think if anything, it's probably overpriced. I think it should be cheap, really, now.
Well, they haven't actually announced a price yet. We're just guesstimating.
Yeah, I'm just guessing.
Yeah. Based on the price of the VR, I reckon it's probably going to be quite hard.
Did they announce the price everywhere else? I know they have the US price, but did they put the price out for every other country?
I think there was an article about what it was going to cost in Australia, but I don't know about a specific announcement from Sony. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But either way, it was super expensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the console here, the PS5 disc console is like $900.
Yeah.
Over $1,000 here. So we don't even have the discless version in New Zealand at the moment. You can't get it. And I guess it's like it is everywhere else.
Yeah. As I said, I think they didn't make many of them, did they? I think they wanted people to buy the disc version. So, but yeah, for as you said though, for the few that did manage to get the digital version, I guess they've got an option to get a disc drive for.
Instead of paying $70 day one, they can go get all those secondhand versions of the game and then play them.
So EB Games here in Australia currently has $904 or $905 for the God of War bundle with the disc version of the console. Console by itself is $800, and the digital only version is $650.
Whoa, that's a massive difference in price.
Yeah, so $650 to $800 just for a standalone console. That's the PS5. So yeah, it's it's expensive, but it's all relative once you do the conversions and taxes and stuff like that. So because those prices include tax, by the way. I know the US never include tax when they saying that.
Price,
so $70 really. Hang on, $70 over there is really what, like $78 or something, depending on what state you're in.
Well, yeah. So we have states that have no tax, right? So it'll just be $70. Then we have states that have high tax and states that have low tax. It just depends.
What would the average be, do you reckon?
Probably around 4%.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Because our tax is 10% on products and services.
I was like 15.
You really have states with no tax in it?
Yeah,
for certain.
But right next to me is New Hampshire. They don't have a sales tax. I think is Texas one of them that doesn't have it. I don't know. There's several states that just don't. They just don't have a sales tax.
That's crazy.
So currently, the digital edition, which is out of stock in New Zealand, the PS5 digital edition is $729. The
Damn.
physical, the disc version is which is bundled with a game, is $1,019, and PSVR is $1,089.
What?
Yeah,
Damn.
PSVR. It is bundled with Horizon Call of the Mountain, so they're giving you a game right off the bat. But yeah, it's over $1,000. So it's more expensive to get the VR than it is to get the console to use the system.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
What's
crazy.
up, Bumbra? Hi, Monad.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are listening to the Gamers Initiative podcast with Elite Gaming Guru, Red Dead Panda, and myself, AshtreyGaming. We have a special guest today. If you don't know him, then there's something wrong with you. Geet Charney's joined us today to talk about some topics. And the next one is his bread and butter. Yes, we're all sick of it. I know, but it's news and we've got to talk about it. It is about the CMA, of course. The CMA have published a response to the MS/ABK deal, which seems largely to tell the CMA to back the deal and protect consumers and not preserve the status quo.
Yeah.
Which means, obviously, Sony's the market leader in console gaming space. They're the status quo. They're the leader. And they're saying, well, you shouldn't be protecting the status quo or the leader. You should be allowing competition, which is 100% true.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
go, Red. Yeah.
I was going to say, Elite, what are your thoughts? We'll get you starting. Have you read the piece?
What a stitch up.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was just
Stitch
tapping.
him up.
As soon as you said that.
I've got a lot to talk about on this. Do you want to go with me or do you want to go with you?
Yeah, go with you.
Far out.
Right, okay. Right.
There's an ashtray off right now.
I was trying to set it all up for Hargate, but anyway, whatever.
Oh. Let Hargate go first.
This is a very professional show that we run here, guys.
I'm being a dick. It's fine.
Oh, God. All right.
So, is Hargate... Are you going to fire off Hargate or should I go?
It's up to you. It's your show.
I'm not fussed.
Oh, I quit. I'm done. I'm out.
Hargate, you can start us off.
All right.
Make
So,
Ashtray's life easier.
so look, we had an interesting response from the phase one, right? And it was very, let's say, Sony instructed. So that they took all the inputs and really took whatever Sony said because they were the ones giving the most negative views on the potential for this deal, right? So they took that information and created their phase one output and saw concern. And they asked for input, which, by the way, I also put input in, and I have a video that goes over what I said to them. I find it very interesting that they actually are reading it. That's kind of cool. And then they published only one so far, and it's very pro the deal, which is also an interesting move. They could have easily chosen something that was anti the deal, but they chose that, which might signal something. But yeah, it was a pretty well, reasoned analysis of sort of the industry to say, well, hey, there's, there's good reason to be skeptical, of course, but there's nothing in this that should cause concern enough to stop the deal. It ultimately serves everyone involved in the deal, the employees, the consumers, and the market, right? So it should not be an issue. And Sony itself is not going to fail and falter because of it. So it should be okay to go ahead. And they were pretty good with their description of things. I don't know who the participant is, but it looks like it is one of the major participants in the industry, right? So, though we know it's apparently not Epic. But
did Epic come out and say that? Did they?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Did they? Yeah.
Said it's not. It's not.
That's because Sony's got shares in them. That's why it'd be awkward if they did do that.
Right. But yeah, so I thought it was pretty good. I'm more interested in the fact that they published this specific one and what that says about where their head's at. So I'm taking that in a sort of a hopeful tone that they hopefully are actually, they're going to need concession. That's fair. And that's, get the concessions they want. And then, move forward with the deal. Right. So
I think the reason why they published it there is also to kind of show that they're trying not to be
Biased.
biased
Yeah.
at all, and
Yeah.
they are looking at every aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it is really, if you haven't read it, I do recommend reading it. It's quite interesting around what they're talking about and how
Yeah.
they're talking about it's pushing the industry in this area where we can see it's going, and we shouldn't be kind of trying to stifle off that new technology that is just starting to come into its own. Um, and options are good for consumers, and it's trying to say
Yeah.
like, yeah, we understand that Sony is seeking to maintain its position.
Right.
However, like that's not the point around it. The
Yeah.
CMA should be
Competition
look,
is to
yeah,
change things, right? It's to
competition is
bring
good.
dynamism.
They bring up
Yeah.
Fortnite in this as well. They say Fortnite came out of nowhere and sort of challenged the market in its own, and that's what's going to continue happening. And
Right.
for them
And they
just
missed a
kind of
couple of things, right? Like Apex, specifically, like
Apex
Sony
Legends
has
and
bad-mouthed, EA.
yeah,
And it's like Apex came out from EA, and it's also doing really, really, really well. In many cases, it beats Call of Duty. So it's not like they don't have the potential. So they did miss little things like that. There's also in subscriptions, Apple Arcade came out a year after Game Pass, and it has substantially surpassed the number of subscribers. It's well over 100 million.
yep.
So if that's a competitor that could do it, there's no reason others couldn't as well. But they have a competitor that has beat them already. So Microsoft is trying to do the same thing. They're looking to expand in mobile and in PC to try to get to that level, right? They want to also get to that, and they're seeing on console they might be kind of constricted by the number of consoles that they sell. And so they might not be able to get to 100 million because they don't sell 100 million plus consoles.
Whereas,
So they need to go somewhere else, right?
which is why
And
it's
part of this
important for the
deal,
TV app. Why it's
yeah,
important
and
for
part of this
it
deal is
being
the
on
King thing,
mobile.
right? It's
Yeah.
King, it's Blizzard to get PC. It's that's what they're looking at, and so there's plenty of things here, right? And there's plenty of things they did miss, but that's okay. I mean, it was still pretty well reasoned.
Yeah, I
Basically,
mean,
what was said mimics a lot of what I think it was Take Two fella said, wasn't it? Take Two CEO said in
Yep,
that
yep.
interview. In the interview, that really biased journalist that just kept attacking him and trying to pull him apart, and he just like. Do you remember that interview? It's just ridiculous. But he pretty much had the same thing. He backed the purchase, didn't the ABK deal, and was saying competition's good. And he said there is competition stuff, and all our games release, at face value. If you're going to buy the game, you're going to buy it. If you're not, you're not. And it pretty much the speech sort of mimics that. It could even be Take Two, but it just mimics that. And I've also wrote to CMA as well and done a video on it
Yep.
as well, because I think it was good to get a point across. I assume you did the same, Red.
no, I did not. Definitely did not.
Oh, okay.
Oh man.
But yeah, because at the end of the day, like they've got nothing. There is no argument, and it's shocking it's even got to this level. It's shocking it's even got to this stage, and
Yeah.
it's. I think it's at a stage now where it's not a case of winning; it's just a case of slowing down Microsoft and just sort of holding them back. That's what I think. I think it's going to go through, but I think it's just going to drag out now for another year or so. And I think Sony are fine with that because it allows them now, their developers, to catch up. I mean, it allowed The Last of Us, the multiplayer version of that, to come out, and they've said they've got 25 games in development, aren't they? That are gas games, haven't they? That they're going to be dropping.
I think there's 10 to 12 that are games as a service, but they do have 20
Yeah,
plus games in total.
yeah. So it'll give them time to catch up, I think, to this deal and start dropping these games and then compete. And I think that's all they want, really. I think they just want to slow the cog down. So
Yeah.
They were pretty adamant that Activision being bought would be the end of the world, and the only way that things could be okay is Activision has to remain independent. Those were Sony's words. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But if they thought through the consequences if this deal doesn't go through and Microsoft's got £70 billion to spend elsewhere on gaming.
Just buy PlayStation.
It's
Yeah,
looking at that,
yeah.
right? Well, they're not gonna be able to buy PlayStation. That would
I
definitely
know.
not go.
I know.
But there's consequences to Activision employees and Activision
Yeah.
itself, and that's it. It's sad, and that's why one of our our unions, the biggest one we have, has condemned this from the FTC, saying
Yeah.
no, because they worked with Microsoft to make sure that this is going to be a good thing for them, for their
Yeah.
employees, and breaking this up, Activision employees were leaving because they were sick of the environment. And
Yeah.
they stayed because of this potential to be Microsoft employees and have this be fixed, right? And
Yeah.
that's going to be a big deal. That's not just a simple thing,
Ha-
right?
ha-
It's,
So
Hargate,
it's true.
what are the chances if this didn't go through? What are the chances of ABK essentially breaking off departments and selling it off in pieces? Is that a
it may
possibility?
end up happening. It just depends on where things go. So if employees leave en masse, which could happen, right?
Mm.
The question is how big the market is for people to leave, right? So as long as there's enough other studios looking for talent that will hire those people, they could leave, right? And if you're talking something like a couple of thousand, their stock's going to tank, right? They're
Hmm.
just because they won't be able to deliver. And if that happens, yeah, Activision could liquidate. That could happen. I mean, that's a very dire potential. They could also just find better ways to fix it. They could change themselves. That takes time, unfortunately. A simple change like Microsoft buying them automatically brings a Microsoft culture, right? Because their HR will take over, right? So that just is an easy fix versus saying, okay, we will try to change our management style, change our HR, and people don't believe it, right? Generally, employees don't believe it. So that is a harder way to go, right? Who
Mm.
else could buy them? Apple. They're not going to
Amazon?
allow Amazon to buy them. That's not going to happen.
No.
If they're not going to allow Microsoft, they're sure as heck not going to allow Amazon to buy them.
Mm.
Who else? Meta? Nope, that's not going to happen. And Google's not interested anymore, right? And they're also under scrutiny. So who, right? Who's going to be able to buy somebody like that?
10 cent.
Uh, and that's even worse culture, right? So I don't
Embrace
I
the
don't
group.
know how that would help, right? To your point though, that they may even just allow that, which sucks. So, but that's the headache you run into, right? So there's many facets to this. From a U.S. perspective, I'm not as worried though because they really just have no case, and
Mm.
the courts are eventually going to get involved, and when they do, we'll see what the outcome is. But I'm like 90% positive the courts are going to toss it because it just doesn't make any sense,
Mm.
right? But from a CMA perspective, it's different. It's really up to them, and they will have to make a determination. It's not as easy to challenge that determination. So we'll see what they come up with. But again, I'm hoping, based on the way they published this one, one response, that they are taking it seriously and they're seeing that okay, there are enough positives, and this is not the end of the world, and we get enough concessions, we should be able to move forward.
Do you think this was done by Gabe Newell and Steam people? If it wasn't Epic?
I don't think Gabe gives enough crap about Microsoft to actually do something like this.
Okay.
So I don't think so.
But
No.
he's pro Xbox. Like he's not said anything sort of negative. He's been for it, is
He
what I'm
has
saying.
in the
Yeah.
past. He has been very anti-Microsoft at times. So he's
Recently
not
announced,
exactly.
yeah, they
Yeah.
did recently announce COD would release on Steam, didn't they?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they
So,
nice FU on the screen there. But yeah, so the he has been hit or miss, right? Now he's an ex-Microsoft guy, right? He came out of Microsoft as a Microsoft millionaire and created Valve, and he's had his tussles with with Microsoft, right? So I just don't see him caring enough to go right to all this. It's possible, but I don't think it's them. I think it's somebody else. And you said Take-Two. They're probably a more realistic one because they're also in the acquisition mode.
yeah.
And so they want to be able to be able to buy people. So I think that's more likely.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I think it.
yeah, go.
I just want to. I think there was actually the two top unions, wasn't it, that supported the deal in the States?
I've only heard the CWA, but there could be others as well. But
Yeah, there was another one. I think when they announced it, there was two of them. But I was just gonna say that that's. I don't think that's why they looked at the bigger picture because while all the fans and console warriors are complaining about Xbox getting hold of it and ruining gaming and killing COD and things. Potentially, if Xbox don't get it, we could lose COD altogether anyway, and nobody gets to play it.
yeah.
So, which is
More interestingly, this assumption that Sony can go at there's two participants here, right? It's not just it's Microsoft buying somebody. It's Microsoft buying Activision who wants to be bought. right?
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
they're going against Activision, who then they're going to go to, hey, should we like sign a nice marketing deal? You think Activision's going to come to the table? They're going to say Sony, screw off. Like you just totally destroyed our takeover. What are you doing? Like you want us
Yeah.
to now be chummy with you? So
Yeah.
I don't. For a while, I think they're going to be like persona non grata at Activision. They'll still sell their stuff. Obviously, they're going to put their game there. I'm not saying they're going to take the game away, but I don't think they're going to get marketing for a while. I think that's gone.
Well, I hope if the deal don't go through, what I'd like Microsoft then to do, go, okay, fair enough. Activision, here's $5 billion. In exchange, we get marketing rights for 10 years. We get exclusive content for 10 years, and we get the game 6 months exclusive. Times exclusive. Bosh, have that.
Yeah.
Oh, I
That's
doubt they
what
would
I
do
hope.
that. I don't think you can have the game exclusive because like the whole point of
For
multiplayer
time,
games like
you
that,
have time, bro.
even timed, it would just
That's
destroy the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't do that. Imagine Fortnite saying, it's only available on Switch and PlayStation, Xbox. You'll get it 6 months later. It would destroy it. You can't do that. You have to have it
Mm.
everywhere. Multiplayer is all
Cool.
about community, so it's got to be everywhere.
Well, Titanfall was exclusive, and so was PUBG.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Titanfall
Where
when
are
it
they?
came out was a brand new IP by itself, and then Titanfall
Exactly.
2 went multiplat.
Exactly. And PUBG was to try to bring it to consoles, the same deal, right? So and then it was not like locked to Xbox. It went to PlayStation eventually. But the intent there was take a PC game and bring it to console. And those kind of things happen, right? Because they couldn't do it. PUBG didn't think they could afford to do it themselves. So Microsoft fronted the cash to bring it to a console. And that's fine. So same with Crossfire, right? They did the same thing to try to bring that to console. But anyway, yeah. So, but they eventually intend to be everywhere, and you have to be everywhere. And COD is an established multi-plat. It would kill COD. I don't think you could do that. You have to be everywhere.
Yeah. You can't have less player base than what it's currently got. And that's the biggest
exactly.
thing. It's a third-party game, has been for a long time. Yes, Sony have exclusive content and stuff, but that's all Microsoft have to do if this deal doesn't go through. Is just get the marketing rights to it, just pay for that, and just have the better. Exactly right. That goes without saying. It goes hand in hand with the marketing rights, and just do exactly that, and just keep it on everything. Look, and that's why they'll keep it on everything anyway. It's just the fact that it's going to be owned by Microsoft is a big problem. But then Activision hasn't been looking after their own company very well, so isn't their stocks going down again? Didn't it drop down to $60-something a share recently?
I thought they were going up, and then I don't know. So even after the announcements, it kind of went up, but
okay.
The market is just so weird these days. So who knows?
Yeah, you can't keep an eye on it.
But look, either way, there still needs to be some sort of evolution to this, regardless of whether it goes through or not. Things can't stay the same. And this is sort of a argumentative topic, but Sony, in my opinion, for the most part, has sort of kept things relatively the same. They haven't really done a whole lot of innovation. They've tried to keep it the way that they entered it, which is keeping it to a closed box, whereas Microsoft came in and then try to expand it to PC and stuff. And they're obviously slowly doing that now, but that's only because they're sort of forced to. But they've basically sort of hindered the growth of gaming, in my opinion. Whereas now we're starting to see it grow because it's going to different platforms and it's things that IPs are being shared, and Minecraft acquisition, Xbox left it on everything, and it's out there, and then it's making them a shitload of money. So we need evolution in the gaming space, and Xbox being last place are pushing it, but they've got the cash to do so as well. So we need to keep seeing that kind of evolution happen. And I think the deal needs to kind of go through to keep that going as well. But anyway, that's just my opinion on that one. Anyone else got anything more to say on that CMA document?
Just hurry up and approve the deal, please.
Yeah, right.
That's what I have got to say on that front.
Well,
I'm just like, when is this happening?
It's going to be a long year for you then, Red.
Yeah. I'll just wake me up.
2024, I reckon.
Wake me up when it happens. I'll just hibernate.
In induced coma.
Yeah.
All right, well, you guys are listening to the Gamers Initiative podcast with our special guest, Hargeet Chani, myself, AshtreyGaming, of course, the one and only, Red Dead Panda, and EliteGamingGuru.
That's me.
That Todger. A little bit high on life gameplay. That Shaz was a little bit high on life gameplay. I like the visuals. The gameplay is good. It's fun. The only thing is the nav point kind of sucks, but a lot of games can't get that right. Actually, God of War 2018 did it really well, in my opinion. Anyway, enough of that. It's a fun game. I suggest you guys try it. It's in Game Pass, and it's already had its day one patch, which I don't know why they couldn't have just delayed it a day instead of having a day one patch. Because when I first jumped into it, it was running at 30 frames and it was blurry as hell. And now it's definitely much better, but it is having a few issues. Apparently,
you unlocked the slide on it yet?
Yeah, got that.
Like, I love the slide. That's how I move around everywhere now.
Oh, it's so much faster, isn't it?
Oh, it's so good.
It's heaps faster. And I just like the banter and the things they say. Although I'm having audio issues where sometimes the dialogue just doesn't come through, which is really weird. So I've rebooted my console and stuff. The only thing I haven't done is delete it and reinstall it. But I'm not going to go that far. I don't really care. All right. I think we've got one more topic left.
Yeah, this is a bit of a fun topic.
We're doing. What is that topic, Elite?
Well, it's about King Dudley posted on Twitter a list of 60 games that dropped on Game Pass in 2022. Don't know if you guys can see the list. If you've got it open in front of yourselves.
It's in the chat in our Discord.
Yeah.
So 60 games. I'm sure probably more than that, isn't it?
No, that's just that have launched day one into Game Pass.
Yeah.
So there'll be more games that have come to Game Pass that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. What did he say?
So I think the thing about this list is, okay, yes, we haven't had any major first party games, but look at what has come in, and it's easy to forget because the year's been, everyone's busy and things come and go, and all sorts of news have been around the place. But it's easy to forget what games have fallen in. So this list is really cool to just go back through and go, oh yeah, and this looks like it's kind of relatively date based.
Soccer Story.
You
look at the list and go, Soccer Story. I remember that game.
Oh, I'm sure someone played it, right?
I mean, looking at this list, and I just go in and remember some of the Twitter posts around all these games that are launching at the time, and like, it's just funny to go back, but it just goes to show that you're right. We haven't had a lot of first party titles launch, but Xbox gamers haven't had nothing to play, because this is not just Game Pass. When you think about it, 60 games releasing day one on Game Pass, but like other games that were third party that didn't release onto Game Pass, or games that you could wait 6 months down the line and then play them through EA Play through your Game Pass subscription. So there's been a lot of games that we have had an opportunity to play. Like, I've played so much of Sniper Elite 5. I like Trek to Yomi, love Tunic. Who's that other one? Tinykin's on there. That was one of I love Tinykin so much.
If you haven't played it, guys, play it. It's great.
I was not expecting to enjoy that game so much, but that was really, really good. Plague's Tale on there.
Slime Rancher 2.
Yep. And now I'm saying High on Life. There's so many good games. Like, I played Power Wash Simulator for non-stop for hours and hours and hours. Like, there's just a bit of everything in there for every type of gamer. And just looking retrospectively in the year that has happened, I really enjoyed this year. Yes, I would have liked some more first party titles, but obviously can't get what you always want, and the industry, it's been filled with delays. Like, I would have loved to have tried, I probably wouldn't have liked it that much because I'm a wuss, but I would have loved to have played Stalker 2. And we don't know when that game is coming out, but hopefully someday in the future, when everything settles, we'll actually get to play Stalker 2. Yeah.
Indeed. I think it's a fairly impressive list.
Yep.
Elite, Hargate, I'm sure you guys have played quite a few of these.
Yeah. I was just going to say, that Cyberpunk style game that we played? Remember that little game you ran with little characters? Last year, that game, not this year.
The Ascent.
Was that last year?
Last year.
That was last year.
Why it's been that
So
way quick? I did.
yeah, so my take on this is I don't think this is enough. And the reason I say that is I expect to see like a sort of headlining game every month, and
Yeah.
they didn't do that. So some of these games are big, some of these games are but they're just not as big as the stuff they did last year. And you know, they had like 8 to 10 like AAA-ish games. Many of them were their own, that's true. But they also had other ones from other companies and like Outriders, things like that. They actually had AAA games. And this year it's been very lackluster. Yes, they had Sniper Elite, they had Plague's Tale, but that's the kind of problem, right? Like, so they have set a standard, and I don't care what other companies are doing, Sony or Nintendo or whoever else. They're giving me Game Pass. It's this newfangled thing where you're putting games day and date. Well, I want value for my money, so I don't care if Universal puts up movies in the theater and Netflix gives me no content. That's not good enough. Netflix has to give me content for me to keep subscribing. And that's what this is, right? So I expect more. So looking at it from 2021, I think 2021 was more impressive and 2022 was very lackluster. So they had some good games, fair enough, but it just wasn't enough. I think they need to have that about a month, every month, have a AAA third or first party game that's bringing you day and date, that's bringing you into the service. And they've really missed the mark this year. To me, I don't think it's good enough. So that's how I look at it.
Their promise that they said they were going to have like games every
Quarter.
so often, every quarter.
Their
and
own,
then-
exactly, right?
Yeah,
Their
and
own
then
big
they
game
were
a
talking
quarter.
about how it's really hard for us to see a show where we can't like. There's so many games. We're looking at every show, and we've got all these games to show on every show, and then they didn't show anything at the Game
Exactly.
Awards.
And where is it? Where is where are the games?
Yeah.
Right. So
it
and
is hard
to your
look
point,
at it
a
that
lot of
way,
them got
yeah.
delayed. I get that.
Yeah.
But
It is hard. I agree.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, there would have been games like Stalker 2 on this list, wasn't there? And the Warhammer game and the Exo Mecha was
Atomic
meant to be on there.
Heart and
Atomic
yeah,
Heart, yeah. So they'll get delayed.
many others, absolutely. But
Yeah, is Atomic Heart still releasing this year? Or was that
Next
next
year?
year?
it's next
It's next
year,
year.
beginning of the year sometime.
Yeah,
I
beginning
think
of
it's
the
got a
year.
release date now.
Yeah, so they
That game looks good.
and then on top of that we've got Starfield Redfall got also delayed. So yeah,
Feb 21, right, for Atomic
yeah.
Heart.
So yeah,
February looks
2021 was better because it did have those AAA sort of heavier titles in there. Third party and first party. Where this year everything was delayed. All the big AAA games were delayed, unfortunately. So, but it just
Xbox
means
is really
next
gonna
year's
bring
going to be. Well, it's not as if they're going to delay them all again next year. I think they are going to drop next year, and I think it's just going to be probably too much, to be honest. Yeah, because I mean, fast forward to next year, where you can have Redfall, Forza, Starfield. That's just going to be in the first 6 months, isn't it? They sort of said because the last thing they said they're going to show the next 12 months, didn't they?
If there are
Up
no
until
more
June.
delays.
Yeah, if no more delays. Yeah, so there's them three plus Atomic Heart, Stalker 2, possibly Arc 2, Exo Mecha, Warhammer. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of games next year.
Hellblade 2's got to release by the back half of next year. Has to. It's been in development for so long now.
Yeah.
I need that game in my life.
It's got to be released, and they need a big hard hitting game in the back end
that's
of
why
next
they
year.
kept it away from Game of the Year. I think they want to announce it themselves in January. I think that's why they kept it at Game of the Year awards.
They want to have its own showcase.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to showcase it in January and give us a release date for it.
It still doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you not show something in front of 90 million people and then have your own showcase that's only going to get 20 people? I'm kidding, but fuck all compared.
But you're not wrong, right? It is a very different,
makes no sense.
Animal. They'll get maybe a couple of million, right, versus 90.
It just
I mean, I hold it's because of the regulators, but there's people who think it's not.
Well, tinfoil hat here. What if they delayed Redfall and Starfield because
I think they did.
You reckon?
I think I don't know about Starfield. I think they did delay Redfall because of that.
Interesting.
Those are coming out at $70 anyway, which is a pain in the ass.
Yes, agreed, 100%. However, unlike Sony, at least they're going to be current gen only.
Yeah.
Which is something, at least.
Yeah.
But all right. So you reckon they did delay Redfall Redfall,
Redfall. Yeah.
because of the CMA stuff.
I don't know. That's tinfoil hat big time. But I
Yeah.
think they did the
Okay.
nothing at the Game Awards because of like Sony weaponizing everything they're saying.
Mm,
They're like
mm.
that. We're just gonna go radio silent.
Wow.
Possibly.
There you go. You never know.
Mm.
You
What
never
are your
know,
take
but
on these 60 games?
2023 has to be big.
It will
Otherwise,
be big.
Yeah. Sorry,
will be big.
Panda. What did you say? I missed that.
Oh, asking everyone else's take around this. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah.
no, you're right. All good.
Hey?
I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon all the games are going to drop next year. I think Xbox is now keeping its cards close. I think because of what's happening, and I think they're just going to hold out for their own shows.
My theory on Starfield being delayed was that it was going to run at 30 and they're making it run at 60.
Yeah.
That's what I think
I
for
got-
that one, at least.
Yeah.
I also
that's
think they might be
probably
trying
true.
to.
What was that?
Probably
That's
is. I
probably
reckon-
true.
Well,
Yeah,
he
probably
came
is.
out and said that he likes 30 FPS games, and it's like,
Doesn't mean the consumer does.
yeah, the consumer does not. So they're like, shit, we're going to have to delay this, guys, because we need it running at 60 ASAP. How long is that going to take?
Yeah. He also addressed the other thing because there was people complaining about the AI, which is ridiculous to take from that little bit of footage they showed.
It's about
People
the
complaining
AI
Yeah,
and why the AI is the way it is. So, I mean,
when
there's
he come
still-
out,
Go.
I was gonna say he come out and said the AI they've actually they cranked up the AI and it wasn't playable. It was too hard, so they've actually cranked it back down again. Didn't he? He said, which is quite funny. So
It's because
which
the
is sort of
AI was running
understandable.
around teabagging everybody. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, like Halo, didn't they? Yeah,
was
obliterating
awesome.
people. Yeah, they should have kept that in though. But yeah, so
It was
yeah,
a
so he's
bug.
turned it down.
Uh-huh.
He said he took the fun out of the game when they cranked the AI up, so and he don't want to remove the fun out of it. But I got also a feeling they're going to add in, which was another people's a weird gripe, was the when you can land on the planet, we can go straight from space onto the planet. I reckon they might add that back in. So,
Like actually being able to fly out and come back.
yeah.
Instead of just being a
Possibly
loading
might
screen.
add that in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is that possible? Knowing that it was all loading screens, can that sounds like it'd be a lot of work, more than a year's worth
Yeah.
to me. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Either way, it'll be interesting to see how it works.
The other thing, wasn't they switching engines?
No,
Some
it's still
point.
staying
No.
on
because no, we're
creation.
not switch
Oh,
engines.
it's, I thought
No.
there was
Hell
just-
no.
Staying
The
on
creation
creation.
engine, and yeah, they just updated the creation engine.
Yeah.
All right.
Bethesda switch engines.
Yeah.
April Fools.
I know that was 343, wasn't it? Talking about switching Halo over to Unreal, wasn't it?
There's
Yeah.
some rumors about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
rumors
yeah. Which is madness. But yeah, I reckon it's going to be stacked next year. I'm quite looking forward to it. So, Game Pass is going to be fire.
But what's your highlight for the year, guys? What is your been highlight? Game on
Standout game?
Xbox? Yeah.
That is a great question.
I'm kind of annoyed
Ye-
that we don't get the review of Xbox since like 2018. You know how you used to be able to get the snow globe thing and you could look at your stats?
Yeah. I don't
Where's
understand why
that
they.
then?
I don't understand why they do things like that, and then the next year it doesn't exist. It's weird.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. I'm wanting to do it this year, and it's just not happening.
Yeah. Look, I've probably spent most of my hours this year in Fortnite, but a standout game that I really enjoyed. Well, three games. Now that I think about it, Vampire Survivors is awesome fun. And what do you call it? Proteus. Proteus is really good. That's like a Doom clone. That was really awesome. I suggest you try that. And Tinykin. So they're my three standout, and they're all indies.
Yeah.
Even though I put most time in Fortnite, those other three games definitely had probably the most
Fortnite
fun.
start out kind of like an indie game anyway. Fortnite. Remember when it first launched? And it didn't even have the. It felt more like indie in that, but it didn't have. It was more like a double A. It didn't even have the Royale mode in it, Battle Royale mode in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't play it when it first came out, but yeah, it was just like a, what do you call it? Like waves of enemies coming, and you had to build a fort or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's about it.
that was about it. Yeah, but the graphics on it now with the latest update to 5.1
She looks gorgeous.
yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Mhm.
Really nice looking game, and I've noticed there's a lot less pop in as well. So when you're skydiving from the bus down to the island, there's actually a lot less pop in than previous iterations of the game. So they've even improved that texture streaming and stuff. Huggy, you play it every now and then, don't you? We've played together, haven't we?
Vampire Survivors?
No, Fortnite.
Oh, sorry. Fortnite.
No, you've never played it with
No.
us.
I think I played once with you guys, right?
I think so.
And yeah, and that was basically it. And I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Huggy and I will go play Halo instead.
Yeah, I would much rather play Halo. I don't know why. It's just nothing that interests me for some reason. It's okay.
Fair enough. I'm not a fan of Halo multiplayer, so
Yeah.
there you go.
All those hacks, eh?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that was
what
our
was your
last.
stand-up game,
Oh, sorry.
Huggy? Sorry?
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, even though I was very annoyed with the game most of the way through, I'd have to say it's Elden Ring. I can't imagine anything else really like overshadowing that. It like ate everything up for like whatever 6 weeks or so, and like everybody was trying to get through that game. And I just kept persevering through it, even though I hated persevering through it. But I did end up finishing it. So it's got to be the standout as far as like the game that really took its time on me and then like made me think about how to actually finish that stupid thing. So that's got to be the standout. Other than that, if you're talking about games that I actually like really enjoyed, they weren't from this year. They were from last year. So I finished It Takes Two this year,
I
which
love
was
that game.
fantastic. Yeah,
It's
fantastic
my
game.
favorite multiplayer game ever. Like
Yeah, it's
two-player
so
game.
good.
It's so good.
It when it won Game of the Year, I'm like, really? And I'm like, when I played it, yeah, it totally deserved it. It really was very good. I liked Yakuza Like a Dragon, but again, that came out, was that like a
Last
couple
year.
years ago now? I think in 2020 or something like that.
21.
So yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I don't remember. I think it was like a launch title for the consoles, but yeah. So those are the games that stood out. But yeah, I think Elden Ring has to be the one that really stood out this year.
Elite, what about yourself?
Probably is Vampire Survivors this year, to be honest. Only because it was a surprise. It's a surprise how much I enjoyed it, and it's quite addictive. Obviously, there's bigger games and stuff, but yeah, I think that's sort of the game that sort of stood out for me most this year.
We all know it was Stray for you, Elite. Shh, it's
Stray,
okay.
yeah.
I'm live on
never play
stream.
that game. I won't ever play Cat's Bottom Simulator. I'm sorry, I won't.
Cat Bottom Simulator.
Yeah, because you just run around looking at the cat's bottom all day long, do you?
I mean, if you have a cat, then yes, you do.
God, the
Yeah.
things you can say about that, my goodness.
Well, yeah, yeah. Did any of you guys play Stray? Did anyone play Stray?
No.
Nah, I got led astray to play something else.
Oh,
Yeah, shit.
you are sick.
Yeah. It was a shocker
Mentally.
that was even nominated for Game of the Year as well.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone disagreed with that. Well, we know certain people disagree with that, but it's a shocker that it was nominated. Disgusted, in fact, I think. Yeah.
Well, especially since there were plenty of other indie
Cult of
type
the
games that
Lamb?
were actually pretty good.
Yeah,
right? And
there was really good
totally
indies
got
this year.
overlooked.
Yeah, it was
Including
really
Vampire
good year for
Survivors.
indies. Yeah, yeah. I don't think Vampire Survivors even got nominated for indie.
Got
of the
nominated
year,
for debut game, like launch game
Yeah.
type indie game.
did it? Oh, God.
And Stray won that.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Ugh,
What won indie of the year? Was that Stray as well, wasn't it?
Indie?
I think, yeah.
I
indie
think
game of the
Stray
year.
got that too. I can't remember. Stray got another award.
Yeah,
so
Stray
Yeah,
got 2 awards.
It got more awards than Horizon Forbidden West, didn't it?
Everybody got more awards.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, Stray, yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those things, and you think something's gone somewhere. Someone's paid someone a bag of money. Just give it awards. Give it awards. Yeah, it's just weird. Because anyone I talk to has not played it or didn't enjoy it. I've not spoken to anyone that's gone, yeah, my game of the year. Yep, amazing.
Well, I just kind of want to shout out to everyone who's in the chat. I know some of our energy levels are slightly lower than usual, like both Elite and I are sick. But I managed to stick through. My painkillers have kicked in a bit more, so I could keep my headphones on a little bit longer. But this is our last show for the year. I don't know exactly what date we'll be coming back in the new year. But yeah, as just want to say a big shout out to everyone who's been hanging out with us this last year, and like have a safe Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate around this time of year, and have a safe New Year. But yeah, just been a good year talking with you guys. And yeah, pass it over to Ashtray.
Oh, well, all right. Today was a good show. Elite, I've just seen what you wrote. Ashtray voiced knifey.
True story.
Man, some of the shit that knife says is funny as hell.
Oh no, it is funny.
Did you stab him? Did you stab him with knife
fucking hope I
out?
did.
And
Yeah.
get an achievement?
Yeah, absolutely. Too bad he's
Reed is
still sitting on
super
that
high.
couch. But anyway.
I am super high on drugs. Yes, I am very high on drugs at the moment because I'm. That's the only way I was going to get through this show.
And that's just because of Elite.
Yeah, basically. That's not even because I'm sick.
But yeah, look, it's been a good year with you guys. I started when was it? March with you guys on this show, and it's been real good fun.
It's gone quick, isn't it?
It has absolutely. So I've enjoyed myself. It's been a pleasure with you guys, and yes, this will be our last show for the year. But again, we'll return next year. We might have a slightly different overlay. I might work on something. I've got a few weeks off over Christmas, so I might work on something a bit newer, a bit different.
Yeah, you and I can collab on that.
Sounds good. And yeah, hopefully we can, just improve upon the year we've had. And yeah, always appreciate everyone that comes out to watch the show.
Yeah.
Appreciate Hargate joining us for our last show of the year. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great to have you
Thanks for
back. Yeah, in the new year. When me and Red are feeling better and more sort of with it. And and we've got some more fiery, better topics to go through, to be honest. It's been a bit of a dull week, sadly.
That's because you're around, Elite.
Oh, thanks.
Dull because you're around. Hi, Pete. Hi, fuck you. Hi, other Zinc. Just so you're, because I know you're here, I'm just going to say it for you, rubbish. So you have to wait till the end of the show to listen to me say rubbish.
Well, there you go. Twofer.
Technos, Grey Monad, Risk It for the Biscuit. We've not had one, but
Don't call out to him, okay? He doesn't exist. Risk It does not exist.
New one. Good night, Peter. Thank you all for joining us throughout the year. Try Hard fan if you're still there. Thanks for joining us throughout the year, guys. It's been a fantastic year. Roll on 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, where can we find you? We've not asked where we can find you. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm part of the Game On Daily, and I'm also on Boom's podcast on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern US. And so Game On Daily is it's gameondaily.com, and then youtube.com/gameondaily. And I am not on any social media, but I am HChani on Xbox, so you can find me there.
Yeah, and he likes to play Halo, so if you want to join us for some Halo,
yeah,
let us know.
I think, I might have to join you on that. I think I've still got it installed. I might try it because it's boring when you play on your own, and also I was getting fed up with the multiplayer because I keep coming across like PC bots, so it's getting a bit irritating.
Are they a bit sweaty?
Yeah, they're a bit sweaty. Yeah, they're the kind of guys that just run past you, just headshot you, and you die instantly. It just gets a bit boring, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it'd be good to get. I'm quite happy to jump back into that if you're on there. Okay.
All right.
Do that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
Nice.
Join us.
Nice. Good stuff. Late, where can we find you, man?
You can find me here. You can find me on Twitter.
You can find him in a fishbowl.
Twitter War. I don't know what's my thinking for Twitter War. I don't know what it is now.
Gamers Initiative 1.
Gamers Initiative 1. Yeah, I think it comes up at the end.
It's on the screen.
And where else can you find me? It's on the screen. How we? Where else can you find me? And that's it. I'm not on
Mental
anything else.
institution.
Yeah, behind you, Red.
You can find him in his OnlyFans pillow account. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God!
But
And Elite, you drop a video recently, or do you have one coming out soon?
Nope. Yeah, I've got a video dropping, or I'll probably release it Tuesday now. So it's just covering what the whole thing about Colin Moriarty, what he said about Xbox games don't count. And I've got a Conan video drop after that. I'm sure you'll watch that, didn't you see that? And then some stuff about the FTC stuff. So yeah, I've got a couple of videos that are going to drop before Christmas. So look out for those coming, and some more Conan videos and tips and stuff. Me doing magic in it because it's getting quite gruesome in the game. They've added magic now, and what you can do is you can capture people, you tie them up in this thing, and you slit their throats. It's proper gruesome, but anyway.
They've added magic. It's still not going to be as good as Hogwarts Legacy. Just FYI.
Because it'll be real magic, not children's magic.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it, and we're gonna jump out now.
Thank you for
watching. See everyone later.